But many years ago, there was a traveler, and he set out upon a journey. It was a magic journey, and was to seem very long when he began, and very short when he got halfway through. He traveled along a rather dark path for some little time, without meeting anything, until at last he came to a beautiful child. So he said to the child,
"What do you do here?"
"I'm almost playing. Come and play with me." So he played with that child the whole day long, and they were very merry. The sky was so blue, the sun was so bright, the water was so sparkling, the leaves were so green, the flowers were so lovely, and they heard such singing birds and so many butters, that everything was beautiful. This was in fine weather. When it rained, they loved to watch the falling drops and to smell the fresh scent when it blew. It was delightful to listen to the wind and fancy what it said. As it came rushing from its home, where was that? They wandered, whistling, howling, driving the clouds before it, bending the trees, rumbling in the chimneys, shaking the house, and making the sea roar and fury. But when it snowed, that was the best for all, for they liked nothing so well as to look up at the white flakes falling fast and thick, like down from the breasts of millions of white birds, and to see how smooth and deep the drift was, and to listen to the hush upon the paths and roads. They had plenty of the finest toy in the world and the most astonishing picture book. All about skimmers and slippers and turbans and dwarfs and giants and genii and fairies and valentines and orsons, and all new and all true. But one day of a sudden, the traveler lost the child. He called to him over and over again, but got no answer. So he went on for a little while without seeing anything, until at last he came to a young man. So he said to the young man,
"What do you do here?"
"I'm always in love. Come and be in love with me."
So he went away with that young man, and presently they came to one of the prettiest girls that ever was seen, just like Fanny the corner there. And she had eyes like Fanny, and hair like Fanny, and dimples like Fanny's. And she laughed and colored just as Fanny's does, while I'm talking about her. So the young man fell in love directly, just as somebody I will not mention. The first time he came here did with Fanny, well, he was teased sometimes, just as somebody used to be Fanny. And they quarreled sometimes, just as somebody and Fanny used to quarrel, and they made it up, and sat in the dark and wrote letters every day, and never were happy and sundered. And were always looking out for one another and pretending not to, and were engaged at Christmas time and sat close to one another by the fire, and were going to be married very soon. All exactly like somebody I will not mention and Fanny. But the traveler lost them one day, as he had lost the rest of his friends, and after calling to them to come back. So they began to have a news that was darker than the rest, and were pressing forward in their journey, without looking down it, when the lady stopped. My husband, I am cold! They listened, and they heard a voice a long way down the avenue, saying, Mother! So he went on for a little while not seeing anything, until at last he came to a middle-aged gentleman. So he said to the gentleman,
"What do you do here?"
"I'm always busy. Come and be busy with me."
So he began to be very busy with that gentleman, and they went on through the wood together. The whole journey was through a wood. Only it had been open and green at first, like a wood in spring, and now began to be thick and dark, like a wood in summer. Some of the little trees that had come out earliest Who was this? The gentleman was not alone, but had a lady of about the same age with him, who was his wife. And they had children who were with them too. So they all went on together through the wood, cutting down the trees and making a path through the branches. Sometimes they would come to a long green avenue that opened into deeper woods. Then they would hear a very little distant voice crying,